Okay, thank you for staying. Thank you for joining us. Some new faces over there. Now we would like to discuss a bit about education in the field of technology, art, and science. Since we have really guests that are precisely from this field, Professor Christa Sommerer and Professor Laurent Mignonneau and Professor Narvika Bovcon. Just a little introduction also about Narvika, because we heard about Christa and Laurent. Narvika Bovcon is a professor of video and new media art. Her research interests are in the theory and practice of new media art and visual communication, especially digital animation, user interface design, and mixed reality. Since 2016, she has been the editor-in-chief and editor-in-chief of Likovne besede. That's the only, I think, more professional magazine in Slovenia for art theory, for art articles, art journal, actually. And she is the author of numerous new media art projects and exhibitions. And she wrote a book. What was the title of the...
Pametnih strojev, art in the world of smart machines.
And I have to say that this was the book that we all who are interested in art, science, and technology were reading and learn a lot from that book.
Thank you.
And Dr. Christa Sommerer and Dr. Laurent Mignonneau, they established a really unique program, master program, and also PhD program, Interface Culture at the Art University in Linz, which is very linked to also Ars Electronica, which I think it doesn't need any special explanation. I think who are here are very familiar with Ars Electronica. And also their students, I was also a student there, had a chance to work and to learn together with students from art, engineering, and science all together. I think in Slovenia we still don't have such a program, since it's very much interest from the students, especially from art students, to learn also about technology. Now I will give some question, and you just please tell your experiences, your stories, because I know that you have plenty. So I start with Narvika. We know each other since many years. We are also now collaborating, and for me, you are like a unique case in Slovenia, because you are a professor at the computer science department.
Yes.
And at the same time, you are also a professor at the Academy of Fine Art and teaching art students. So, and how are your experiences teaching art to the engineers, to computer scientists?
Yes, that's a very good question. First of all, thank you for a kind introduction. I would say now it's been 14 years since I am teaching at the Faculty of Computer Science. Actually, I got so much used to this new environment, because I come from Academy of Fine Arts. It makes really a lot of sense, and I must say that it was actually the idea of two professors, Professor Franz Solina and Professor Srečo Dragan, who were collaborating on interdisciplinary projects already since 2000, connecting the two studies from computer science and Art Academy. They come each from one of the institutions, and they made this interdisciplinary collaboration where I also studied. Afterwards, Professor Solina at the computer science faculty, he's very interested in this field of new media art in the broad sense. And I must say that this is a special case. It's not that everybody would be interested, and I must say also that the beginnings were more difficult than now, because now these ideas are quite well known, and everybody is starting to do different kinds of interdisciplinary collaborations. So, but these were really 2000, and for Slovenia, I think in Austria it's very different, but in Slovenia that was quite unique. Overall, I must say that I have very good experiences with my students, both on the academy and on the faculty of computer science.
And here I would also like to mention the famous festival in Slovenia, Speculum Artium, that we all knew. It was founded in 2008 actually, and first edition was in Ljubljana and was founded with Professor Srečo Dagran and you and Franz Solina. And that's how then later Speculum Artium 2009 came to Trbovlje.
Yes, at the time we started first with a festival of computer art in Maribor. Already from 2004, and we collaborated with Peter Weibel. He was curator for the few editions of the festival.
He coined the name Speculum Artium, Peter Weibel.
Yes, exactly. Also for this festival, he collaborated at that first edition. So that's how the festival started. But then I think already the second year, you were already managing this festival.
No. I think I started managing in 2009. No, 2013.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A little later then, but
and for interface culture, first you were professors at YAMAS, right? And in YAMAS, this is YAMAS is Advanced Institute of Media, Art and Science in Japan, in a really small region, Ogaki. So when I was in Japan and when I told to others in Tokyo or in Osaka that I'm staying in Ogaki, they were like, what are you doing there? But this program was that time also unique for Japan, right? There were like engineers and artists and I don't know if scientists already working together. And there you took like the model and you wanted that as well in Linz. So yeah, please can you share with us? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, that's correct. When we were in Japan, we first, Laurent and me were very lucky. We moved there in 95, I think, in 94? Are you sure? Okay, time is flying. We moved there, and our first job was artist in residence and then researcher at ATR, the Advanced Telecommunication Research Lab. And at that time we were more like in research, but in 2000, I think, the YAMAS Institute of Advanced Media Art and Science was founded in the mid-90s by Professor Itsuo Sokane, who was a journalist, and he had this idea of bringing to this small town of Ogaki a very advanced school of media arts. And I think he was inspired a lot by Ars Electronica, because he was good friends with Leopold Zeder and the founders of Ars Electronica, and he wanted to build the first school of media art in that small town of Ogaki, where he got some grant. And soon after the foundation, first it was a bachelor program, then later they also opened a master program and they got the university status. And since he knew we were at ATR, which is not that far in Kyoto, he invited us to be part of the Advanced Media Art and Communication YAMAS Institute. And that was for us the first experience of teaching. And we soon found out that this is actually a very nice concept to have artists, creators, engineers work together. And what also inspired us a lot for later for founding the interface culture program was this idea that there is no division between whether you're an artist or a scientist or engineer, because they had this idea of creator. And I think that was a very nice, concept, that you don't say, oh, you're an artist or oh, you're an engineer, but you are a creative person who creates something with the technology, and it's not so important what your background is. And this kind of concept, we took it also for interface culture, and we sort of copied it a little bit from the Yamas Institute.
And how was the process? Was it challenging, to come with such an idea to the art university in Linz? Were they open right away for such a new program?
To be honest, at the beginning it was difficult, because for some strange reason, I don't understand why, but Ars Electronica and the art university, they were enemies. I don't know what happened when we came, before we came, but the art people at the art academy, they didn't like what Ars Electronica did, because they always said, like, this is not art, this is only technology, and we don't need this. And even the graphic professor back then, he forbid his students to use computers. And also all the other professors, they really looked at us with a big suspicion and didn't really like what we did. We had a lot of critiques. And then when slowly, it became a bit more successful, and then we showed all the student projects as Ars Electronica, and our students got a lot of attention. And so suddenly they realized, okay, this is not that useless what these people are doing, and they started to, accept it more. But it took a long time, to be honest, because many people from the art field, contemporary art, they didn't really like this kind of digital art all that much. But it changed when people, especially when the mobile phone came up in 2000. Suddenly, they all had mobile phones. Suddenly, they also wanted to do something creative on the mobile phones or with computers. And suddenly, it totally flipped, and that was very strange. I don't know how you observed this, but that was my feeling, that suddenly it's almost like a handle that was switched, and suddenly everyone found like, oh, technology is super, let's also do something. Even the painting department, they started to be interested. We saw it also with the students. They suddenly came from other departments to take our classes. And yeah, this was very mysterious. I don't know how this happened. Maybe you had the same experience, that there was such kind of change in attitude.
Attitude, but I would say that we are still not there, We still don't have an interface culture lab or something like that, so it's still two separate institutions, so it's it's still difficult.
Yeah, and my experience is that I'm very happy that we have in Slovenia, professor like Narvika, that she is giving, to the students and to people like the opportunity to share our knowledge, our experiences with students. So how we collaborate with Narvika, that I can in her course, in her class, I can actually give to the students the opportunity to learn about robotics. So we started just as a lecture, so I came to the department, to the students of industrial design, to talk about robotics and to talk about brain-computer interface, but then, the next year we extended. So the students in her class were able to come to Târboulea, so we have like several prototyping sessions, so that the students had a chance to physically work with robots and also to learn about brain-computer interface, because we thought, if they're industrial designers, they should have the opportunity to learn about these new technologies. But in Slovenia, really, this depends on the open-minded of professors or chief of departments.
And also on companies and individuals who are enabling, like you, Maša, because For the academy, the problem is different. We don't have the technology, we don't have the know-how, we don't have the connection with industry. So your role is really vital in this collaboration, because you established this lab in Catapult, and there is the technology and an assistant who is actually programming these are the skills that the students of Art Academy usually don't have. So it's really important to have this kind of spaces where this collaboration can emerge. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and this opportunity that we were able to get all the equipment, the robots and the brain-computer interface, we were able to get it through European grant, this RUC. And actually when we started the lab, we were able to get the equipment, and first the idea was really to produce more like artworks. But somehow we saw so many interests from school, not just universities, also, you know, primary, high schools in robotics, in neuroscience, so that we kind of then went more into the educational field, or more to demonstration, this kind of way, not maybe to create our own art production. And then we also open our lab to artists to come to our lab to learn about robotic technologies and neurotechnologies, because we know that robots are still very expensive, you know. So that's why we were also then able to host like Mar and Varvara and Mar. They are very famous artist duo using technologies. And actually they came to our lab to learn about industrial robots, and now they are doing their own artworks with industrial robots. Also here at the festival, at the second platform, you can experience their artworks, or not artworks, I would say more like prototypes, because we are demonstrating this, but not just like an art installation, but more like prototyping, researching, you know, what creative you can do with robots. That industrial robots are not meant only for industry, that can be also something else. And such workshops I am also giving at the Interface Culture department, but in Linz Art University there is also like a special program, Creative Robotics, which is very good. And I have to say the ex-students from Interface Culture, Amir Bastan, who I was also teaching robotics, last year he also came here with a spot robot, so he's now working with this really advanced robotics, and now he's a researcher, and he's actually started as an artist.
I think what you do really well, Maša, is also this sort of educational aspect, because often what we see with media artists, you know, they are mostly interested in doing their own art projects and show it, but in your case you have also this very strong educative mission and educative enthusiasm, which I think is also, from my point of view, very rare. And this is a real skill that you have to also have in order to transmit it to young generation. So this is really beautiful.
Yeah, we are confronted mostly with prejudice, the engineers will have a sort of vision of what an artist is, but doesn't correspond to reality, and the other way around. So this has to be changed, but it takes a long time to really get rid of that vision and then just embrace whatever there is there to work with. And I think this is still a little bit at the beginning. People are a bit shy. They say, I come from engineering, I'm not an artist. Or the other way around, I'm an artist, I don't deal with this thing. So this has to get softer somehow. But it takes a long time, and it's through education that actually this happens.
Yeah, but here in this place I also have to mention that I have a really nice collaborator, Jan Rajšek, who is actually doing the programming things with the robot. But he actually did his diploma under my mentorship in the lab that we founded. So he came as a Praxa student, totally lost, didn't know what to do with his life. And then we had robots there, and he started to work with robots and brain-computer interface, and bam, that was his diploma work. Connection, industrial arm with the brain-computer interface. And we noticed that he also has this talent to educate, you know, to be patient with who are not so skilled, technical skilled, that he slowly explained the things, you know, like that's also a very rare thing. So we are really nice collaborators in this field. And my question would be also, when you started such program, you know, how was, like, can you tell any story, you know, the first students, when, you know, they were faced, you know, artists now has to work or learn together with the engineer, and the opposite. How was?
I think, from what I remember at the beginning, it was never so clear, you know, I mean, most people had already a big curiosity, and we have not to forget the context of Linz is a lot of Ars Electronica context. So people anyway, you know, they know the festival, they maybe have friends at the Ars Electronica Center or at the Future Lab or at the other departments, or now we have the Grand Garage. So there is a whole kind of context and a whole almost like a infrastructure around. So people are not so defining themselves anymore, whether they are artists or engineers or scientists. It's kind of floating actually. So that's in a way good. And generally, if you say you're making a project for Ars Electronica, then people are quite open to, you know, give you support and help you. Or I remember one time we had this student in making a project in a swimming pool, in a kind of very luxury health club, and he said, "Oh, I have this idea for the swimming pool. Can I please do it during Ars Electronica?" And they allowed him to do it. So in that sense, I think people are quite open if they hear innovation, cool projects, and I think it's a nice atmosphere. And like, for example, if I now think about Ulrich Brandstetter, he did his master thesis at the Kepler Uni in computer science, but he was very eager to study in our program. And we were like, why do you want to study in our program? You already know everything in terms of technology. We cannot teach you much more than what you know. But he was like, no, I want to be in this context. I want to know more about art. I want to be in this community. So it's often also engineers who want to learn more about the artistic concept, not only the artists who want to learn about the technology. And that's also, or Tiago, for example, Tiago Martins, he also came from engineering, and then suddenly he did this wonderful project together with you and with a group of other students. So I think all this kind of hybridization of backgrounds and interests is also super fruitful for people.
And I think this model is also very popular in Japan, for example. Japan has this special field in art, it's called device art. And for me it's interesting that, you know, the pioneers of this device art are Hiro Iwata and Meiwa Denki. And for Hiro Iwata, it's interesting that he's actually an engineer, and through engineering he went to art, actually. And he also established empowerment informatics in Japan at Tsukuba University, and this empowerment informatics program was something like interface culture, so they were accepting PhD students from different fields, engineering, science and art, to work together. But there was even more challenging because the department was actually in totally computer science. But with his support, we kind of managed to do really nice prototypes, nice artworks. Yeah. And another question that I would have, whenever I go to teach or to demonstrate or to talk about robotics or neuroscience recently, okay, when I go to the social science departments or art departments, okay, I'm quite okay. But when I go, because I also give lectures, also the, you know, like engineering departments, and there, you know, now the technology is advancing so fast, and I'm always like, will still this be interesting for the students? And I'm always, what if the students really had much more knowledge than me to go there? So how are you coping with such things recently?
Okay, if I answer first, but I would also like to hear your answers regarding this. Yes, I don't even try to keep up with my students because, you know, they are really computer engineers and they have much more knowledge than I do. So what they don't really know so well is this conceptual thinking on level of art, you know. So I am trying to teach them this part, and my assistant, who is a computer engineer, he takes care of the technical part of all the projects, but still we cannot even prescribe use this technology because it's evolving so fast. They can use also something else, could be maybe even better, you know. It's like always this open structure that the students can actually propose their own technological solutions, but they do need some discussion, dialogue on the level of making the concept for the work and so on. So I'm talking about computer engineers.
Okay,
Do you want to say something?
Well, for me, it's difficult to know what is an engineer or an artist because I've been from both at the same time. So I've not been questioning myself. There was just an interest in the tools, but I wanted to be an artist. I've never wanted to go to a technological school. So to learn more things, it was just a curiosity that brought me there. But as an expressive, as an artist, not as an engineer. But it's both the same. As you learn the tools to create the artwork, you become engineer anyway, because you have to know how things work. And you can dive into it, of course, a lot. You can learn a lot more processes, and through that, you can actually find out what you can do later with these new tools. And we know that new tools can create new content, so therefore it's just like it's very a nice thing to have to continue with your research. But it's not the latest thing. It's an issue in of course engineering, but it's not an issue in art. You don't have to know the latest technology in order to be a good artist. It doesn't make any sense. And so this pace is different. You as you keep your curiosity on, of course you learn all about this development, but it's really you are running after, because it's really changing fast. And you know it. Things get obsolete very quickly and replaced by another one, and then it's not the same access, not the same tools, not the same principle always. So you have to relearn constantly this. In art, you are more or less trying to see what is your interest and how you can express it, and it's a complete different thing. So it's more interior. It's not so much attached to devices. So the combination of the two is a little bit bizarre, because you have on one side you have to follow up the development, on the other side you have to follow up what you want, and then this is the combination of the two that suddenly goes out. But you are not being judged really with your competencies, more or less. You're more about your ideas, your expression, and that's a good thing about art, I find.
Yeah, because lately I noticed there is a little bit of stress on the artists, you know, who we call each other new media artists or like intermedia artists, from the curators. Oh, but what is some novelty in art? You are not using AI, you are not using the latest technology. This I don't like, you know. But I see it, that it's quite a lot of this pressure now from the curators on us, new media artists.
That's true.
Yeah, it's totally true what you say. For example, I mean, one thing about media artists that it's also very hype-based. I mean, who talks about NFT anymore? You know? This was what, 2 years ago? it was the big thing, and suddenly gone, you know. Now it's all AI and art, so every exhibition is more or less with AI context. So yeah, that's great, but it's true what you say, that a lot of artists feel now the pressure. Oh my God, I need to do something with AI, but I have no idea. What can I do? Maybe I should ask the AI what I should do. You know, so it's really stressful. But my advice in this case would be, do it only if you really feel that you want to say something to yourself first, but also to the world. Because to only do it because it's trendy, it doesn't make much sense. Like you said, you know, you don't have to have a PhD in engineering in order to do good artwork. You know, you can also do good artwork just by having a great idea and then find the way of how to realize this idea. Either you do it yourself if you have the skills, or you collaborate, or you ask someone to help you. So the good thing about art, like Laurent said, it's the concept and the ideas that count. While in engineering, I think you have much more pressure to really, you know, do super advanced knowledge, new knowledge, while in art, you can still count on your intuition and on your, maybe creative imagination.
Yeah, sometimes I think the expectation of curators, not so much from the audience, you know. For someone who is doing paintings, you know, there is no pressure from the curators. They know what to expect. But when you get this title, you are new media artist. If you're not using the latest technology, then you are like, that's.
On the other hand, I see, like, for example, Cesar, you know, Cesar Escudero. I mean, he's always managing to make a super clever twist to the technology. So you feel like, what a clever idea, you know. It's maybe not that advanced in terms of technology, but it's just a smart idea. And that's what I think good artists are good at, you know, finding a super clever, sometimes critical, sometimes even cynical, or sometimes completely reversed ideas. And I think I really appreciate that if somebody can come up with such kind of clever ideas.
Okay. And I would just like to share a short story that usually I give in my talks when I also talk to engineers. It's about Jaron Lanier. You know Jaron Lanier?
Yeah, VR.
He coined the word virtual reality, and he's an artist. And he's not an engineer, even that we know that today, you know, the VR technology is developed mostly by an engineer. Okay, that's one thing about him. And the other thing, the research about this, how your body can be modified and that you still feel it, that is yourself, this body ownership research in the field of VR. Because in VR you can have like someone else's body, the avatar, you know, and how, you know, can be different from your body, that you still, you know, conceive it as your own. He started with this research, and that happened when he was doing the research with NASA. They did these avatars, and they were testing the avatars with this suit that has like markers, you know, that you move and your avatar moves with you. And then he was like stretching the arm, and the arm got longer. And all the engineers in the room were like, oh, something is wrong with the code, bug in the code, we have to fix it. But he was like, you know, this creative mind, no, this is a new field of research. My arm changed, can I still feel it as my own? So that's how it started, this study of body ownership, you know, and that's, I wanted to point to this creative mind, you know, that is also very important also in to be innovative, innovation, you know. So here I would like to end our discussion, and I would like to include you. Can you share?